Hello folks, welcome to my channel Java Demystified by SSR. Here comes the question number 24. What is super keyword in Java? Explain. Let's demystify this question. In Java, we have a keyword called super. And this keyword is used in association with inheritance. That means whenever we have inheritance among the classes, then this super will come and help you in certain cases. And we know through inheritance, a class can acquire all the non-private members of its parent class. Data members can be acquired, methods can be acquired, static members can be acquired through inheritance, but constructors will not be inherited to child classes. So in a base class, along with the data members, along with the methods, we have constructors as well. But these constructors will not be inherited. So then how to create a parent object? How to create an object of a child class which is acquiring some properties from the parent class. So how to deal with the constructors in inheritance? There comes actual use of super keyword. Constructors will not be inherited, but those can be invoked from the child classes with the help of super. And super has to be used with parenthesis, then actually it is super constructor. It is a default super constructor, and we can actually have super followed super having some arguments, let's say some a roll number and name. So this is a parameterized constructor which actually refers to immediate parent class constructor with two arguments, and that constructor will be invoked from the child class. Okay, so and there are other usages for the super as well. The first one is by using super, the immediate parent class instance variables can be accessed. And the second is we can invoke immediate parent class constructors, and the final one is we can invoke immediate parent class methods. So by using super, one can access the immediate parent class instance variable. In an inheritance hierarchy, for example, I have a hierarchy of A, B, C, A, then B and C. Now here from C, for C the immediate parent class will be B, and for B the immediate parent class will be A, and of course for A the immediate parent class will be object, because object is superclass of all Java classes. So now in C I can use super to access, from C I can use super to access immediate this B class instance members, and this B's constructors, and this B's methods as well. Okay, so now let's understand the super with the programming examples. Now let's see here, I have a class A which is having one instance member, that is A, and immediately I am having a constructor. This constructor can be public, and other visibility modifiers can be given to this, and we are constructing here this particular instance members. And there is a statement also to print whenever this constructor is executed, that is a constructor invoked. And this is my class A. I am done with my class A, and then I have an executable class B. Class B extends A. Whenever we say extends A, so this particular A is available for class B. Now class B have two data members, int b its own and this particular a from its superclass a. And now the constructor. Now the constructor b, this can be written as public b as well. Public b, now it is the responsibility of the class b to construct both the values, because through inheritance value a is also, the member a is also available here. So int a, int b, and we know this a is already been constructed by class a, that is the parent class. Now what we can do is we can actually invoke that particular constructor by using this super of a. So this is the super constructor, and whenever we say super of a, now it refers to immediate parent class constructor, and immediate parent class is a, and here we have a constructor that takes one argument that is also an integer variable, okay, that matches, and this constructor is going to get executed, and later the child specific values, anything is there that has to be uh, constructed, so that this dot b equals to b. So this local b refers to this instance b, and we have of course a statement to say b constructor invoked whenever this b constructor is called. Okay, so now what actually happens here? So whenever the main execution starts, the main method will get executed. So b equal to new b of 10 and 20, and in class b we have a constructor which takes two parameters. This constructor is actually matched, and then immediately there is a call to super. So now it refers to its parent class, and this constructor is going to get executed, and we will see a cons invoked getting printed, and later b will get constructed, and then we have a statement b cons invoked is also getting printed. So this is the use of super. Super is used to refer to immediate parent class constructors, because those constructors are not inherited. So the constructor has to be accessed with the help of super keyword only. So let's see whether this will execute or not. So let me go to my terminal. So here let me compile Java C, and here the class, actually the main class is b, so it is Java C b dot Java. So whenever you compile, you will have two dot class file generated. One is a dot class and another is b dot class. So compiled successfully, and whenever I say Java b, in the main actually I am creating an object. Whenever this object is getting created, this constructor is called. This constructor in turns refers to its immediate parent class constructor with the help of super. Right, so Java space b, now it is expected that a cons invoked and b cons invoked getting printed respectively. So a cons invoked and b cons invoked. So this is how super will help to access parent class constructors. Okay, and of course we know whenever we are not writing a constructor, a default constructor is supplied. So let me tell you this case what actually happens. I am not writing a constructor here for both the classes. See, I have a class A, of course I have a variable. Okay, I am not having any constructor, right? So here, so that means what? Here, because I don't have a constructor, when it is compiled, the default constructor is going to get supplied by the compiler, right? So in class B extends A, now A is available here, but here I am also I am not writing any constructor, so a default constructor is going to get supplied, right? So now in the main method, now I am actually creating an object of B, because I have not written any constructor, so I am using a default constructor new B. So object B is going to get created, right? So for time being, what I do is I will actually assign some values, int a equal to 100 and some int b equals to 100. So just I want to show you that I can access those members. So system.out.println. Okay, so both the values can be printed, right? So now what I am doing is, so b dot, so b1 equals to new b, because I have this instance member b, so my object is b1. So here b1 dot a getting printed, and then we are concatenating that with some space, and b1 dot b is also getting printed. So I want to print actually these two values. So a is 100, so that is inherited and that is available here, and b is also there. So whenever an object is created, through object I can access these members, and I am printing both the values as part of the outcome. So my outcome should be 100 space some 200, right? But the point here is the default constructor. See, whenever compiler compiles this file b.java, so it generates a dot class and b dot class, right? Now what actually happens? So let me first compile this and tell you. Yeah, so let me clear this. Yeah, so java c b dot java compiled successfully, and java p b, I am actually printing the bytecode java p of b. So now actually this constructor, default constructor for b is available. Okay, so compiler automatically supplying me the default constructor, and let me test for uh, java p a also, because a dot class file is also getting generated, right? So now default constructor, this default constructor and this default constructor, both the default constructors are supplied now. Okay, so now object is also going to get, object also will get created, there's no problem. So let me run my program java space b. Now we can see the output as 100 and 200, so that's what actually expected here. So it's working fine, but the thing here is, so here I am not writing the default constructor, but what compiler will do, compiler supplies me this particular constructor. Okay, so there is nothing, so it supplies simply like this. The default constructor is the default constructor will be supplied like this. Okay, a, and in the body of the constructor nothing will be there. That's how the default constructor is applied. And for here, for the class b, this is important to understand. So for the class b, and now the default constructor is applied, and in the bytecodes actually we will have this also supplied, this also supplied. What is that? Super default. Okay, so because class b is a child class, now before constructing the child class object, the parent class object has to be constructed. So that's why in the default constructor that is applied, that is b default constructor, and in the bytecodes we will have super default constructor, and the super default constructor refers to this particular a, because that is the immediate parent class for me, and that refers to this, and this will be get constructed first, and later later anything is there in this child class that is going to get constructed first. So this is implicitly happens. Okay, this implicitly happens. So whenever a default constructor supplied by the compiler to a child class, in the default constructor supplied by the compiler, you will also find the default constructor to invoke the parent class default constructor, that is super default constructor. So this is what actually happens in this particular case. Okay, so this is the default super constructor. Okay, yeah. So of course there is nothing to construct here, the default construct, that means there are no business statements, and here also there are no business statements, but we know what is the purpose of a constructor. Constructor is to construct the values of an object. So that this constructor will construct a with initially its default value 0 and assigns 100. So here whenever this b default constructor is applied, immediately it calls to super. Okay, this parent object is constructed, and then the parent values are getting constructed, and then actually b will get constructed to 0 initially, and then it will get assigned to 200. Okay, and one important thing is whenever super is used, so this is a rule to remember actually, whenever super is used, whenever super, It may be a super constructor. Yeah, whenever super is used, it is a super constructor with the default values or parameters values. It should be the first statement. It should be the first statement. Otherwise, compiler will give an error. It should be the first statement in that particular constructor. Okay, because the rule is before constructing the child object, the parent has to be constructed. So that's why the the statement super, the call to the parent constructor always must be the first statement in a block. Otherwise, we are going to get some error. So I will show you this error actually in the other program which I am going to discuss. So if you remember, when we discussed actually this constructor also, whenever you are using, this must be the first statement. So this must be the first statement. So super and this constructor, they will compete for the first statement, the top position. So that's why they will not coexist. They will not coexist in a constructor or a block wherever we are writing. So super wants to be the first statement and this also want to be the first statement. They will not coexist. And one similarity that they share is they are not applicable in static context. They are not applicable in static context. So that means these super and this refers to current object, current class object, and super refers to parent class objects. That's why they will not exist in the context of static. Okay, so these are some of the details of a super. Let me now go to one more program, so which is a familiar program. I have a class employee where I have some members like e-number, name, basic pay, and employee works for some organization. And here I have a constructor, I have a parameterized constructor. Okay, so this is a parameterized constructor which takes actually three parameters. These are the three instance members, and these three instance members now have been constructed. So this is how we can eliminate the need of a setter method. Earlier we have a set employee method, now we are replacing that set employee method by a constructor, right? So whenever an object is getting created, so this constructor will be called, and these values will be created for the object. Now I have a cal salary method to calculate the salary, and a get employee method to get all the details of this employee, right? So now this is designed to be non-executable class because I want to make it as a parent class. Then I have a child class exists, that is tech emp, technical employee, extends emp. So whenever extends emp, so all these members, right? So all these data members, all the four members are available. This cal salary and get employee are available, but constructor will not get inherited, right? Yeah, so now if you see the child class, there is one field of its own, that is bonus. Yeah, so now this bonus has to be constructed. So along with bonus through inheritance, it has actually got e number, it has actually got name as well as basic pay, and of course it also has got organization. So all these are available to this class tech employee through inheritance. Of course arg is actually a static, we need not to construct that because that is a static variable and which has been initialized, and that will reside separately in the class area, right? Now this is important. So whenever this constructor for technical employee is used, public techem, okay, so now it is responsibility for this particular technical employee constructor to construct all the values it is having. So it has three instance members, e number, name, and basic pay to be constructed, as well as its own member, that is bonus. So the constructor should take all the four members over here, and we know e number, name, and basic pay have been constructed with a parent class constructor. So already these three numbers are constructed with the basic parent class constructor. Just invoke that constructor. Okay, invoke parent class constructor. Okay, so in order to do that, we require super. So super of e number, name, and basic pay. So now whenever the statement is encountered, so it refers to this particular constructor, and all the three members will get constructed, and later any members of this child specific class. Okay, and of course we are overriding the cal salary by adding bonus, and we are overriding the get employee by providing the bonus as value as well. Okay, so now in the main method, So because TechEmployee is an executable class in the main method, if you see employee TE1, so otherwise I can make E1 only, it's better to pronounce. So I have employee E1 equal to new tech employee. So the object that we are going to create is tech employee. So tech employee constructor we have to invoke. So that constructor actually takes 4 members, instance members as parameters. So 4 members have been passed. Okay, and this object being referred by its parent type. Okay, so this is available because the objects of child classes are special kind of objects of superclass in Java. So employee reference variable can actually refer to the child object, and then even.cal salary and even.get employee, whenever these two methods are called, and these two methods are actually overridden methods because this is overridden and this is overridden, and when a overridden method is called through uh, a superclass reference variable, then runtime polymorphism will happen, and this we have understood actually. Runtime polymorphism or dynamic method dispatch, for both the cases dynamic binding will take place now. Okay, but the point here is whenever this employee tech employee object is getting created, now this constructor actually matches with this constructor of tech employee, and then first 3 values actually been taken through super, and it actually invokes the parent class constructor, and those 3 values are getting constructed, and then bonus will get constructed. Okay, so this is how super helps to refer to immediate parent class constructor. So let me save these classes. Yeah, so let me save first Java C emp.java, and then Java C tech emp.java. So both are compiled successfully, and now I am running tech emp. Yeah, so salary is 134 something, because the salary that we have basically passed is 80,000, and 80,000 into 55% plus the bonus actually is 10,000. Okay, and we are actually getting the details 100 ABC, 80,000 is the basic pay, and 10,000 is the bonus. Okay, so this is how super has to be used, and as I told you, so whenever we are using super must be the first statement. If super is not the first statement, for example, what I am doing is I am actually making this comment and writing this and as a first statement. So now what we are doing is we are not making the super as the first statement. Okay, so whenever super is used, it should be the first statement. That's the rule, right? Let me compile now and see what is the error that the compiler is going to give us. Java C tech employee dot Java. So now see, constructor emp in class emp cannot be applied given to the types public emp so and so, and actual and formal arguments differ in length, and here call to super must be the first statement in constructor. This is the Java rule. Call to super must be the first statement in the constructor. Whenever you are using super, it should be the first statement, and this applies for this constructor as well. So this is the problem actually whenever you are not making your super as the first statement. So I am actually removing this and saving now, and yeah, so I have uncommented that. Now if I go to my terminal and compile, yeah, now compiled successfully. So this is what happens whenever we are not using super improperly. So otherwise the outcome will be fine actually. Okay, so this is about a super. So what is super? Super is a keyword which is used in inheritance, and super has several use cases, but one of the important use cases is referring to parent class constructor, because it is required because constructors are not getting inherited. In the same fashion, we can actually refer to immediate parent class instance variable, immediate parent class method also can be invoked straight away. There is no issue in that. And whenever a compiler supplies a default constructor, then in child class, compiler also supplies the default super. So this is about the super keyword in Java. Hope so. This actually clears the working of super in Java, and hope you have understood the concepts clearly. So if you understood properly, please like, share and subscribe to my channel, and also click on the bell button to get notifications about the videos which I am preparing. Thank you. So thank you for your time.